Today I've got not one but 52 things you definitely didn't know in Call of Duty Zombies. Starting on Origins, you can strafe jump to this invisible platform and get the lightning staff piece without the tank. When upgrading the little Arnie's on Shadows of Evil, there's actually a trick that you can do to make it a bit faster. By throwing your Arnie just in this location, it will acquire the hat without you having to go into Nero's room. On Die Rise, if you walk off this ledge, then crouch mid-air, you will bump into an invisible ledge that will save you from dying. In addition to this trick, if you bring the parts into this corner, you can drop them safely without the risk of falling. In the Derisendrach area of Revelations, if you no-clip just below this staircase, you can find some blue cubes just sitting here. You'll also see the parts for both doors under the map. When swapping parts on Buried, there's multiple locations where the part can get sucked under the map. Luckily, the parts will just respawn at their original spawn point. Widow's Wine actually gives you an additional grenade that's hidden. If you hold out your last Widow's Wine grenade, then get hit by a zombie, you will still have the grenade in your hand despite it not being available in your inventory. This may not seem like much, but this can be a lifesaver as one Widow's Wine grenade can be the entire difference. In transit, there's two different skyboxes. One when you're standing inside the tunnel and the normal one we all know. However, if you stand in this corner just outside of the tunnel, you can get this skybox while in this corner, and it's kind of useless, but it's still pretty cool. On Die Rise, you can skip most of the elevator shaft with a simple strafe. To do this, line up as I do and run off, then hold towards the right. If done correctly, you'll land on the final slide, skipping almost all of the shaft. In the Zombie Chronicles version of Kino, the bottom door in the first room has a crack in it to allow you to see the mystery box. This is obviously useless as the light shows in the window above, however, I found it interesting since all the other doors on the map don't have this crack. In the BO2 version of Origins, you can hit a really crazy strafe jump onto this platform here to get the Maxistron piece. Back in 2013, there was a really cool glitch spot that's now patched that involved mantling into this walkway. It would then put you onto this catwalk. Now, the only reason I'm showing this is because this is actually still possible, although you will instantly die to a death barrier. Have you ever watched BO3 speedrunners and wonder why they swap their weapons so much? You may think they do it just because it's satisfying or for just no reason at all, but swapping your weapons just before you slide will allow you to instantly sprint after sliding. While in short term this wouldn't make a huge difference off the bat, during an entire zombies game this can save a lot of time. If you compare the two side by side, you can see that doing this will save you about 1 second for every 5 seconds spent sliding. In the Black Ops 1 version of Ascension, there's actually a much easier way to activate the lander without having to ride it. To do this, stand as far away as possible, then lean in and purchase the lander. The lander will then take off without you, and this trick also does work on console, but it's a bit different and this is much easier to do on PC. On Buried, it's possible to get the witches to spawn in without ever opening the door to the witch's house. Simply place your trample steam into this corner, then jump onto it. This will then activate the witches, but only a few will spawn. This allows you to get a free perk very easily. In the spawn room of Mob of the Dead, you can see if the warden's key spawned by the cafeteria through this window in the door. This is a very old trick that a lot of people knew back in the day, but I feel like over time a lot forgot about it. In the Kino spawn room, you can prone into this wall and you will receive 100 points from the jug perk machine. You may know that it's possible to activate this switch from this platform below in Origins. But did you know you can actually activate the other one as well? If you try jumping at it, you'll have no success, but to do this, you'll need to hit the switch as you fall onto the platform below. For whatever reason, this allows you to keep hitting the switch, and this also works in the Black Ops 3 version. I figured this has something to do with staying close to it, as if you put a part next to a wall or door, then no clip through the wall, you can actually pick that part up. But that's just my guess, and if anyone knows why this actually works like this, please do let me know. On transit, you can stand on top of the free doors that are powered by the turbine. It's honestly kinda useless as the doors will eventually just close on their own, but it is still pretty cool. When doing the Easter egg on the giant, it's possible to hit a crazy wallbang on one of the teddy bears. Make sure you run into this corner like I do, and then aim exactly here, otherwise it will just not work out for you. In the same room that you receive the tomahawk from, you can throw it just above and grab one of the blue skulls for the blundergat. When filling the tablet for the G-Strike, you can use a charged shot from a lightning staff, then pull out your shield to fill the tablet in just one shot. If you flick your mouse right as you do a fast restart, you will respawn facing the direction you flick to. On transit, for whatever reason, if you no-clip just above the power room, all of the lighting for the room can be seen here as well. Your character will also say a quote as if you just entered the power room. When throwing a grenade in BO3, you can pop a gobblegum during the animation and it will overlap. This same trick also applies to trip mines, and it may work with monkeys as well, but I haven't tested it. Now, if you hold a widow's wine grenade, then pop a gum such as anywhere but here, your gum will actually become delayed and won't work until the grenade is thrown. If you use this afterlife box, you'll normally spawn in the library every time. But if you do a strafe jump and hit the box mid-air, you will actually spawn at the very end of the other room. On Die Rise, there's so many invisible ledges and places you can go that you've probably never even seen before. The only problem is that there's a death barrier in almost all of them. Now, I won't show you all of them, but I'll show you one of the coolest ones I've found, which requires quick revive. You can then land on top of this railing and then jump into this secret room, and it may be possible to avoid this death barrier, but I have not tried it. On Origins, it's usually impossible to throw a monkey bomb on the tank as it will just bounce off, but for whatever reason, when thrown at certain angles, you can actually get it stick onto the tank. If this mannequin spawns on Nuketown, you can jump on top of his head and sit here. Now, honestly, this is the most useless thing ever, as zombies will still kill you, the crawlers can still hit you, and you can't even hit the box from up here either. On Transit, you can throw a grenade into this broken window and open the bank door. You can also break this glass here and then shoot a war machine into this room to unlock the second door. I also found out that for whatever reason, the zombies can break their pathing and hit you through this window. If you no-clip into this room on Revelations, you'll find that there's just absolutely nothing here. But if you walk forward, you'll find an invisible staircase, and this is the exact same one from the Zombie Chronicles version of Kino. When sending the Maxis drone into this hole for the Unleash the Horde step, you can shoot a charged fire staff shot onto the Maxis drone and it will go into the hole and kill all of the panzers for you. In this little tunnel on Mob of the Dead, there's an invisible death barrier that you can hit. Now, I tried to replicate this for nearly 2 hours, and I also increased my jump height to see what actually even causes this, but I was only able to ever hit this on my first attempt, then never again. But I was able to no-clip into the death barrier to show you guys, but just be careful in this area. If anyone knows what actually causes this, I would be really interested to know, as I spent so much time trying to figure out, and I just do not know. If you have not completed the super Easter egg on BO3, your MR6 will only have 32 bullets. But if you complete the super Easter egg and unlock the RK5, your MR6 will have 80 bullets in reserve. In the BO1 version of Darius, if your friend stands just in this corner, you can actually sit on top of his head and all of the zombies will pile up at this small hole. On Die Rise, if you bring this part just to this railing, you can actually jump up and grab it through the railing. This is honestly only useful if you're speedrunning. If you've ever watched a speedrun on BO3, you'll notice most speedrunners will pop their raindrops while standing next to a wall. This is so that you don't pick up any unwanted nukes, fire sales, or whatever else. In Mob of the Dead, you can get the spoon through the infirmary floor. It's extremely easy, and you can also grab it through other walls, but this is by far the best one. Now, this one's pretty crazy. Throughout a match, the teddy bears that sit on the box debris will randomly move their head. Now, the only reason you've probably never seen this is because this only happens when no one's looking, and it is pretty rare. This same thing can also happen on Black Ops 3, and if you want to see it, just go into theater mode. In the teleporter room on Horizon Rock, if you no-clip just behind the teleporter, you can actually find another room, and that's where you're teleported to when you go back in time. It's honestly kind of interesting, as I always thought it was just a filter. On Black Ops 2, when using no-clip, your FPS drastically affects the speed at which you move. On 60 FPS, you'll probably move slower than walking, but on 400 FPS, you'll just fly around the map. When spawning in on Mob of the Dead, you may notice sometimes you might be able to move before the game starts. For this to happen consistently, you'll need to play at around 75 to 90 FPS, and it will work almost every time. However, if you try this on 240 FPS, you'll just get locked in place and you will not be able to move. During the lockdown underwater on Zetsubo no Shima, if you kill the zombies while they're in the map, you will get 0 points. Now, if you kill them before they leave the window, you will actually get the points for the kill, and you can also get the points by killing them with your Widow's Wine grenades. If you strafe jump over to this area on Die Rise, it's actually possible to land on top of the windows. It's completely useless, although I did think it was pretty cool. There's a really cool glitch you can do with the turbine. First, you and your friend will both need to place your turbine. Then pick theirs up and have your friend leave the game. Now break the turbine you picked up, and despite it being destroyed, there will always be power active forever. You can do this multiple times anywhere on the map, and this is probably one of the most OP glitches still in Black Ops 2. When playing Grief on Mob of the Dead, if you no-clip into the laundry room, you can find this text pop up. Now, this is only here because the sequence for the showers is missing since we are playing Grief. This exact same thing can be found behind Bus Depot when playing any of the survival maps since the bus is missing. On Die Rise, you can throw a monkey bomb through the holes in the floor, and this could be pretty clutch if you are playing co-op. You can also bank shot the monkey bombs off the elevator to get them into the room below, and this is actually pretty hard, and it took me about 20 minutes to even do it once. When playing co-op in Die high rise, you can completely negate all fall damage by landing on your friend's head. This is honestly really useful as long as you don't fail, and it's honestly really easy once you get the hang of it. And that's 52 things you probably didn't know. Let me know how many you knew below, and if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. But that's all I got, and have a great rest of your day.